Doctor Strange's spell ensures that Spider-Man still exists, but Peter Parker is forgotten. While it's easy to see the problems it creates for Pete with people like MJ and Ned, what does it mean for his Avengers status? There are no secrets between Earth's mightiest heroes, and they all know each other's real identities and names.
He's a friend from work!
Yes, just like Thor said. But if they don't recognize Peter anymore, how will they welcome back Spider-Man for the next mission?
Wait, who are you?
We're the Avengers, man.
In fact, they might even think that Pete's an intruder if this random teenager shows up on their doorstep and tries to team up with them again. It's gonna take a lot of explaining, and possibly some backing from Wong and Doctor Strange to convince everybody that he's really Spidey. Undoubtedly, the blip created a 5-year gap in the timeline for many people, but the erasure of Peter from everyone's brains might be a little bit too much to handle for his teammates. Unless he just tells everyone he's a clone, because the comic book version of the character is always involved in some clone saga or the other. Another issue the MCU is gonna encounter down the line is any likely introduction of its own version of Norman Osborn. As one of Spidey's greatest foes, it was a treat to see Willem Dafoe's Green Goblin go toe-to-toe with the Webhead in No Way Home. Though in the movie it's revealed that there's no Norman or Oscorp in the MCU. Yes, he exists in Sony's other universes, but not in the main continuity where Tom Holland's Spidey resides.
But you can't do this to me.
So, what happens now? Does this mean one of the best villains in the whole of the Marvel Universe is now gone completely? That does feel like a bit of a missed opportunity here, especially considering how important Norman's son, Harry, is to Peter's life and other versions of Spider-Man. While Ned is fulfilling this role at the moment, there are still many fans who love nothing more than to see Harry Osborn come into Pete's life. If there are plans to create the MCU's own Sinister Six in the future, there's no way that the Goblin can be missing from the iconic group, right? That is, unless someone else takes up the infamous moniker. Someone like Pete's best friend. Ned, oh Ned, ain't he the sweetest BFF of all time? Yet No Way Home gave us a kind of big spoiler about his future. The other Spider-Man, Toby Maguire and Andrew Garfield's web-slingers, revealed that bad things always happen to their respective best friends. It's something that shakes Ned to the core as he promises his Pete that he'll never do wrong by him. But here's the thing. No longer remembers his best friend, so does this promise even hold up now? Maybe Ned could be setting himself up to become the new Goblin.
I'll level with you. I don't think I can keep this a secret. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me, Peter.
But it's unlikely that he'll be the Green Goblin here. If you follow the comics, the character of Ned Leeds ends up marrying Betty Brant and becoming the Hobgoblin, another villain that gives Spidey gray hairs. While Ned in the movies hasn't shown any bad guy tendencies, the history of Peter's best friends is against him here. Both versions of Harry Osborn have broken bad in the past, and Ned seems a little bit too clean-cut for our liking here. It also doesn't help that actor Jacob Batalon has been begging his bosses to play the Hobgoblin. Maybe the next movie will be titled Spider-Man No Friends at Home? Though, the time when Peter will always have friends is wherever his fellow Spider-Men appear.
They love me.
No Way Home saw them go back to their own universes, but with the cracks of the multiverse being ripped wide open, does this mean they're gone for good now? Not necessarily. If Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is anything like its teaser trailer, the possibilities are truly endless, and there could be more than a few surprises awaiting us. As Ghostbusters taught us, seismic events happen when you cross the streams. And boy, oh boy, was No Way Home a big bang of universe streams coming together. With everything being canon now, there's always the chance that Andrew or Toby's Spider-Man could cameo in another movie down the line, or even those universes' MJ, Aunt May, or other popular characters. That said, the reality of this happening anytime soon could be slim. The appearance of Toby and Andrew in No Way Home was purely to allow closure to their characters' arcs, since they never got that with their franchises being unceremoniously ended. This film felt like a final goodbye to them and what they achieved for the Spider-Man lore. All things considered though, we've all learned to never say never in the MCU. While we're on the topic of Spider-Men, did you catch the reference to Miles Morales when Electro mentions how he'd like to see a black Spidey at some point? Well, that was totally a setup for Miles. Now, we already know that he exists in this universe since his uncle, Aaron Davis, as played by Donald Glover, popped up in Spider-Man Homecoming and casually mentioned his nephew. He even mentioned him by name in this deleted scene.
Yeah, sorry, Miles, I'm not gonna make it. Yeah, I'm just stuck.
Since then, however, no one has seen the young web-slinger. Though, the ending of No Way Home actually does create the perfect segue for his introduction. No one knows that Pete is Spidey anymore, so if a new kid appears on the block and lays claim to the webbed throne, no one's gonna wonder what happened to Peter Parker. Tom Holland has already said that he'd like to see Miles become the focus of the Spider-Man franchise going forward, so there's a real chance that there could be a new web crawler leading the MCU. After all, this latest phase is all about evolution and handing over the baton, and it's likely to happen here as Peter Parker makes way for Miles to shine. And talking about passing the torch, what's the deal with Venom now?
We here at the Daily Bugle will not rest until we've uncovered the web of lies. I'm Jay Jonas.
Let There Be Carnage teased that the symbiote was about to butt heads with the web crawler, but in the post-credit scene for No Way Home, Eddie and his pal get transported back to their own universe. So what does this all mean? Well, a little bit of the symbiote got left behind, which indicates that there could be some more Venom babies being born in the MCU. Naturally, everyone's first thought would go towards Pete and him getting the infamous black suit.
This is something else.
However, there's another permutation that no one has thought about yet: Flash Thompson. In the comics, the symbiote bonds with Flash to become Agent Venom. Of course, Flash was in a different phase of his life than the film version of the character, as he was a soldier who'd come back home from war and lost his legs. But hey, it'd be fun to see Venom bonding with the movie Flash as is, right?
Oof, I don't know. I gotta check my calendar first. I got a hot date with Black Widow coming up.
It begs the question, though, is the plan to have two versions of the character? More importantly, would they ever meet in the Battle of Venom versus Venom? It might have just been a post-credit scene, but this is one story thread that could go in many different directions. There's one elephant in the room that we do need to talk about, though: Mysterio's original revelation.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
Now, consider just how powerful Doctor Strange's spell must be for a second, because the internet is supposedly forever, but it isn't here. Mysterio's message was sent to news stations and everyone had the video on their phones. Newspapers were printed, blogs written, heck, we're sure that people even made TikTok videos about the big reveal. What happens to all those things? Does Mysterio's video suddenly get erased from existence along with every mention of it? Or does Pete's name become censored like a cuss word? If so, this spell actually creates a world of possibilities for the MCU. What if Doctor Strange could make everyone forget about the blip as an example? Think about it. It was a traumatic event that made many people lose 5 years of their lives. Isn't that something that could be wiped away from their memories? Yes, a spell like this one is powerful, and Strange did mention why it shouldn't be used, but now that it's been messed with, there's the chance that it could do a lot of good too. Seriously, wouldn't someone like Clint Barton prefer to forget about Black Widow's sacrifice instead of suffering with the guilt every single day? Hey, since you're stuck in our web of videos right now, let's swing across to the DC universe and discover why the Batman will be radically different than expected. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome.